So eLearn for a soulful and enriching eLearn experience. Department of Commerce and Management presents MOOCs, St. Joseph's massive open online course. I, Dr. N. Jyoti, Head Department of Commerce and Management, introducing the Module 1 Introduction to Business Organization. So far we covered definition, concept, features and the importance of the business. In the chapter 2 we covered stages of development of business and classification of business activities. In chapter 3 we covered meaning, characteristics and objectives of the business organization. And now we are going through the chapter 4. So in that we are going to learn about difference between industry and commerce and business and profession. And also we are going to learn about the modern business and what are the major characteristics and the challenges they are facing. These are the course outcomes. Already we discussed earlier in the first chapter itself. So through this particular chapter you are going to learn about the difference between industry and commerce and business and profession. Let us start. This particular chapter contains 4 variations, 4 segments, that is classification of business activities, difference between commerce and industry, difference between business and profession, and modern business and their characteristics. Coming to the classification of the business activities, business is majorly classified into 2 categories, so that is industry and commerce. So coming to the industry, already we discussed in the classification of the business. So that is industry is divided into 3 parts, primary, secondary and industry. Actually quaternary also there. The primary sector is the extractive sector and the genetic sector. Coming to the secondary, we have manufacturing and construction. Under the manufacturing we have the 4 processes are there: analytical, synthetical, processing and assembling. Coming to the trade commerce, we have again 2 categories are there, that is trade and auxiliaries to trade. Coming to the trade, internal and external. Under the internal we have wholesale and retail, and under the external we have import, export and entrepôt. Coming to the auxiliaries means supporting industries. So those are transportation, warehousing, advertising, insurance, banking and finance, etc. These are certain examples for the auxiliaries to the trade. Coming to the meaning of the industry. So industry is a group of productive enterprises or the organization. Industry is different from the business. Industry is different from the organization. It is a group of similar business or the similar organizations or the similar enterprises together which that produce or the supply goods and services for the sources of the income. We'll call it as an industry. In economics, industries are generally classified as, already we discussed, the primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. Secondary industries are further classified as heavy industry and light industry. And we also discussed about on the basis of the size, on the basis of the nature, on the basis of the customer needs, everything we discussed earlier. And these are the certain examples for the primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. Industries that extract raw materials from the ground or the ground surface or the sea are called the extractive. Here we have extractive are there and genetic also there. Genetic means man-made, God-made or the natural resources what we'll get from the nature is called genetic industries. Whatever we are extracting from the ground, surface or the sea are called the extract industries. And these are examples are mining, farming and fishing. Sunlight and everything will comes under the wind power, and those are comes under the genetic. Secondary industries. Industries that manufacture, assemble and process the raw materials into useful goods. All the manufacturing industries and what are all the auxiliary industries, ancillary industries or the assembling industries also will comes under the secondary sector. Car assembly, steel making, the furniture making and all those things will comes under the secondary sector. And apart from that, primary and secondary, we have tertiary sectors also there. Industries that provide a service to the individual people and other business and industry. So, these are the examples for the transport industries, tourism, retail, hospitality, hospitals, and education institutions, and all these are the examples for the tertiary industry. And quaternary industry, industries that are involved in the development and design of the new technology of the products. So, especially for the research and development. So, example, computer research, mobile phone technology, and whatever coming to the health industry, we have lot many the diseases, vaccinations will come, drugs will come, and all those pharma industry and everything will comes under the quaternary industry. And these are the another classification of the industries. In this basis also we can categorize the industries. Nature of activity, that is primary, secondary and tertiary. Coming to the goods produced, consumer goods, produced goods or the capital goods. Consumer goods means, so for to meet the needs of the customers, we'll call it as a consumer goods. To meet the needs of the industry or the business organizations, we'll call it as a producer goods or the capital goods. That machinery, this assembling parts, that maintenance parts and supply, raw materials and everything will comes under the producer goods. And level of the investment, heavy industries and light industry. Depends upon the capital how much you are utilizing, and that we can call it as a heavy industries and the light industry. And size of the activity, we have small scale industries and the large scale industry. Up to 5 crores will comes under the small scale industry, and above 5 crores will comes under the large scale industry. And apart from that, we have in the middle, medium scale industries are also there. And coming to the commerce. So, commerce is a trading. If commerce is exchange of goods and services, especially in a bulk, in a large scale. It includes all the legal, economic, political, social, cultural and technological systems that operate in a country or in an international trade, whatever it may be. Economic also will comes, social also will comes, cultural also will comes, and whatever it may be in that particular area, whatever the goods or the services we are exchanging in a large scale, and that will comes under commerce. Commerce is the conducting of the trade among the economic agents. So, it gives the something value between the businesses and the entities. So, in those days, we have commerce started in the earlier days itself. So, we have a barter system. In those days, what we used to do is, we used to give certain, here in the picture we can see that they are exchanging the bananas with the books. The girl is giving bananas to the boy and boy is giving the books to the girl. In those days, they don't have that much money transactions. So, because of that reason, whenever the primary needs are there, like the groceries and the grains and all, whatever they have, if they are having the rice grains and some other are having the groceries, they used to exchange groceries with the rice and the rice with the groceries. Even nowadays also we can see that. So, we can get the onions by giving our old stuff like irons, rusted iron and the cartons, whatever we are getting from the Amazon packets and all. We will give over that, and in return we will get the onions, and that system is the best example for the barter system. And later on the currency invented, and now we started using the cash transactions, and now of course we are converted to the digital transactions, and everything we are doing, most of the transactions we are going through the online or by our mobile itself, from our mobile itself, like examples of Phone Pay, GPay, Google Pay, etc., etc. Now coming to the difference between commerce and industry. What is the major difference between the commerce and industry? Why? Because both are serving the goods and services to the people. Both are for the meeting of the customer needs, to satisfy the customers. So, but even though, what are the major differences between the commerce and the industry, we will see. We have we have taken the 7 basic differences. Under the first one is meaning. What is the meaning of the commerce and industry? Already we discussed earlier. The commerce is the process of distributing the activities which taking of the goods from the producers and the consumers. They are taking the goods and the services from the manufacturers, and they are distributing to the customers. So that is called the commerce. That means trade is going on here. And coming to the industries, the activities which deal with the conversion of the raw material into the finished goods. So their certain process will be there: input, process and output. In the input, we'll take the raw material, we'll put it into the different process, and finally we'll get the finished goods. If you want to manufacture any table or the chair, we'll take the raw material as a wood and put it, in the process we'll cut that wood and we'll make it into the different segments, and we'll attach everything, then we'll polish, and at the end we will get the finished good, the table. So if that is called the industry. And that from that furniture industry, so if you are giving to the market and we are selling that, and that process we will call it as a commerce. And coming to the nature of the commerce and industry, what is the difference? So it represents only demand side of the goods. So demand is there. Why? Because so they are bringing the goods from the producers and distributing to the whatever the goods they are the bringing from the producers, they are distributing in the market. So because of that reason, it represents only demand side of the goods, and whereas industry is the supply side of the goods. And coming to the scope, it has only trading and other services will be included. But whereas here in the coming to the here they deals with the, we have discussed all the classifications of the categories of the industries, and all those industry categories will comes under here. The goods related to the majorly primary and secondary sector. And place of operation, where it happens? It happens in the consumption centers, or otherwise in the market. Happens at the production centers also, whereas it happens at the factories and the workshops. Completely, some workshop will be there, factories will be there, and there only the manufacturing process will comes under that. And coming to the here the product, don't confuse the dears. Here the production centers means markets. Degree of risk, and what is the risk? So here they are involving only in the distribution of the goods. They are not doing any kind of the manufacturing. So because of that reason, limited risk will be there in the commerce. But whereas in the industry, we have high risk will be there. Why? Because starting from they have to get the idea, and already we discussed, and what are the stages of the development of the business, and all the stages they have to across to get the final products. So in each and every stage, they have to face a certain risk and challenges. So because of that reason, high risk will be there in the industry. And coming to the capital, less capital is required. Certain center or any shop or any shopping mall or a place or a market is there, means we can conduct the commerce or the trade. But whereas coming to the industry, more capital is required. They need to find a land, they need to, and all these production layout, location and the layout, we are going to discussing in the module 3, plant layout and plant location and the layout. And creation of the utility. Place and time utility by moving of the goods. Only place we need to found, and how much time it required to distribute the goods from the manufacturer to the consumers, and the distribution, that how much time it will take, only will comes under the commerce. Whereas coming to the industry, it will take the raw material into the finished goods. So place, time and everything will comes under the raw material, and how much risk and everything will comes under the whatever the process comes under the industry. So these are the major differences in the commerce and industry. Hope you all understood. Now coming to the difference between the business and the profession. Business is Coming to the difference between the business and the profession. Business and the professions are two distinct concepts in the world of the work, in the economics. Their characteristics, motivations, and everything are different. And we all know, we already discussed about what do you mean by business and what do you mean by the profession. And coming to the nature of the business, a business is an organization or the enterprising entity engaged in commercial, industrial, and professional activities. All the professional activities are also will comes under the business. All the manufacturing sectors will comes under the business. But whereas the services provided ones, what service by using the manufacturing the sector, whatever the service we are providing to the customers or the consumers, and will comes under the profession. In order to get a profession, we need a special training, and we have to be a special training must be needed. So that is the nature of the work. So providing special personal service and the through better educational training will comes under the profession. And coming to the motivation, primary motivation of the business is economic gain, profit, maximum profits with minimum wastage. Coming to the professions, they may earn a living from their work, or their primarily motivation is to serve the public interest or provide a specialized service based on their expertise. So it may be a economic activity and even the non-economic activity also. If they are interested to serve the society, they can render their services with a free of cost also. So that is the major difference between the business and the profession. Whereas for the business, the profit motive is the major. And coming to the regulations and the standards. The businesses are regulated by the laws, regulations, the government rules and regulations, and everything will comes under that. But whereas for the profession, standard of conduct, ethics, your motivation, your values, everything will comes under the standards. What are the examples for the business and the profession? For the business, we can take all the retail stores, manufacturing sectors, all the startups, etc., etc. Whatever the business. So far, whatever we discussed in the industry, primary sector and the secondary sector, and all those things will comes under the examples for the business. And coming to the professions, we have teachers are there, academicians are there, engineers are there, accountants are there, doctors are there, lawyers are there, and all these fields undergone a specialized. So for that, they have to take a specialized training. They are supposed to be qualified, and they can enter into the field to serve the society. And coming to the reward, the profit is the reward for the business. But whereas in the profession, the professional fee charged from the clients or the services. So whatever it is, they have to give. And coming to the risk, in the business, we have lot of risk will be there. Already we discussed this in the industry itself. But whereas in the profession, risk is limited. If he is facing any risk, immediately he can quit and he no need to serve. So because of that reason, here risk is limited. And coming to the transfer of the interest, transfer possible with some formality. So that you can learn in the module 4. So transfer of the profession, it will not be possible, but because a specialized training will be given, and that is up to your perception. So because of that reason, it will not be possible. So these are the certain examples of the business and the profession, and differences between the business and the profession. And now the major thing is modern business and what are the challenges. The modern business, they are facing many challenges. So what are the challenges they are facing? Let us see. Modern business is rapidly changing because of the globalization. You know what is LPG? From the new industrial policy 1991, they introduced the LPG policy. What is the LPG policy? LPG means, L means liberalization, P means privatization, and G means globalization. So because of that reason, every liberty is given. So all the private sectors are entered, and even they start their business not only in the domestic country, and they can go and invest in the other countries also. That kind of the liberty given. And privatization, if any one of the public organizations are unable to run, they can convert into the privatization. So the more private organizations are also invited to for the economic development of the country. And globalization. So the not only in our domestic country, already liberties liberalize in the liberalization we discussed about this. So we can invest in other countries, and they can come and invest in our countries also. So because of that reason, there are lot many factors, all the technological factors, political factors, social factors, especially the cultural factors they are facing. And they have a lot many regulatory changes in import and export barriers, and like this so many are included. Let us see certain challenges. Technological disruption. So technology is changing time to time. So because of that, company must adopt the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and the blockchain system and internet things to stay with the competitive. Everybody are the generation to generation it is changing, and now we are in the era of the digital era to we converted to the artificial intelligence. Everywhere we are using the artificial intelligence. So because of that reason, all the business organizations are facing this kind of the problem. Those who are advanced in the high peak in the technology, they are going forward, and the remaining are going back. So cyber security threats. So because of this artificial intelligence and the digital era, there are the threat for the cyber security. The competitors are grabbing the information, the confidential information of the similar industries, and they are moving up. So because of that reason, it is very important to protect the sensitive data and maintaining the customer trust in the face of the cyber threats. And this is the one. And regulatory compliance. Businesses must navigate a complex web of local, national, and international regulations. Why? Because already we discussed about that. Nowadays, the business is the globalized. So because of that reason, they have to adopt the each and every rules and regulations of their country and even the other countries related to the privacy, labor, environment, etc. Particular thing. Time to time, we have to give career opportunities. We need to increase according to the skill. We need to increase the hikes. So with that, we can keep the employees with us. Changing the consumer behavior. Consumer preferences are changing. So today whatever they are purchasing, and tomorrow they are not purchasing that. Their expectations are changing. Why? Because this is because of the modern business and availability of the abundant availability of the goods and services. Wherever they go also, and varieties of the goods and services are available. So because of that reason, their consumer behavior is changing. Timing patterns are also changing. Patterns are also happening. They are almost all the consumers are most of the consumers are preferring the online rather than the offline. So this is driven by the social media, sustainability, concern, demand for the personalized experiences. So this is also one of the change. Sustainability and social responsibility. So this is becoming the very big pressure to operate the sustainability and the social responsibility manner. It includes reducing the environmental impact. That means and ensuring the ethical label practices. Compulsory they have to practice the ethical. They should know all the labor laws and the codes of conduct. So if the organizations knows, then automatically they can resolve the problems of the industrial they can maintain a harmonious industrial relations in the organization. Digital transformations, many digital transformations, everything are they are using the big machineries and everything. Time to time, what they have to adopt the change. Modern businesses are supposed to, whenever there is a technological change, immediately they need to adopt, and they have to convert that particular their machineries and everything to the new technology. Supply chain disruptions. Global supply chains are vulnerable. That is the logistics, warehouses, and political instability, the pandemics, and because of that reason, it is very big difficult to supply the materials to the materials to the. It is difficult for the and distribution the problems are also arising in between the business to the customer business enterprises and even the business to be enterprises also. Health crisis and pandemics. So because of the natural calamities like COVID-19 and all of things, the modern businesses are lot many facing the lot many challenges. And at the time of the COVID-19, we all faced all of a sudden, the government declared that the lockout, and because of that reason, they went on the for certain the months or the certain the days or the weeks, the businesses are closed. So it affect the more the retailer sector than the industrial sector. Cultural and diversity issues. So nowadays, most of the globalized, because of that MNC companies are coming, expatriates are coming to our country. So cultural differences are also facing as a big, and forecasting the innovation and understanding different the markets and what kind of the culture the other the nations, and what is their the traditions. We need to adopt all the before going to start up any MNC companies. So these challenges are supposed to be identified, and that have to be resolved by with a proper strategical plan. With this, we concluded the all the four modules, and especially from this chapter, we learned about the commerce, industry, business, and profession and their differences, and also we discussed about the major challenges of the modern business. Hope you all understood. So here is an activity. Some pictures are given. You need to categorize the industry, and what are the quaternary industry under that also you need to identify. Hope you all understood. Happy learning. Thank you.